Hey everybody, welcome to a rare Monday night edition of Give Me Five. Sorry I couldn't get to it yesterday, was out of town, but wanted to at least get in the Give Me Five today. Let's go ahead and jump in. Last week we had a study session, and in that study session we talked about Fort Smith Animal Haven. They showed us designs of a potential new shelter. We also had a discussion with board members where I had some pretty difficult questions for those board members, asking some questions about transports, adoptions, those kinds of things. So it was very interesting. We did talk a little bit about a utility committee, folks that can look at water and sewer, various things that are going on. What we ended up talking about is trying to define what that committee actually is, and we'll be talking more about that in the future. We also talked about scoring criteria for CDBG and home program funds. These are federal dollars that come into Fort Smith, and they're used for a variety of different things. So we talked about that funding and maybe changes for that. Now, this Tuesday on August 6th, tomorrow, we have a regular meeting, and back on the agenda is Parrot Island. This meeting, there is a lease agreement between the city of Fort Smith and Sebastian County, where Sebastian County would lease the water park and the land around it to the city of Fort Smith for $1. And then, if that passes, we'll be voting on purchasing of the water slides, the 5-slide complex that we talked about a couple weeks ago. And instead of the city paying $2.1 million, half of the slide, and Sebastian County the other half, the request is going to be that the city of Fort Smith pay $4.2 million for this slide complex. It's 5 different slides and variety of configurations. So we'll be having that discussion. I've already gotten a lot of feedback from citizens. I've seen a lot of communication on social media about it. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on moving this direction? $4.2 million, and the city would control Parrot Island all ourselves. And that means that any future enhancements, the city would have to fund 100%. We entered into agreement with Sebastian County years ago that we would share this 50-50. Now Sebastian County potentially wants to give that up for $1 a year, leasing it back to the city of Fort Smith. We'll talk about that. We also are voting on stipulated penalties from the consent decree. $590,000 for sanitary sewer overflows over the course of 2 or 3 years. $590,000, it's a lot of money. We'll be talking about that. I encourage you to watch online, or you can come out to the Blue Line, 101 North 2nd Street in downtown Fort Smith. The items I talked about today are just a few of the items. The agenda is not very long, but you can always go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. There you can see the full agenda. You can watch the meeting or watch any previous meeting. I hope to see you out tomorrow, but at least we'll do Give Me Five again next week, next Sunday. Hopefully we'll be back at it next Sunday. I hope this information was informative and made you better aware of the items that are in front of your board of directors. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great week, and we will see you Sunday on Give Me Five.